Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a long overdue installment of my series, Listen to This. Now, Listen to This, for those that don't know, is a little mini series I've been working on just kind of sporadically, where I talk about albums that maybe are a little bit lesser known. I recommend them, they're favorites of mine. Hopefully, they'll become a favorite of yours. I try to keep these between about 5 to 7 minutes to keep it really brief. So, I don't limit myself on small artists. I'll do independent artists for the series, but I'm also open to doing artists that are considered, legends, superstars in the music world. And this is one of those episodes. I am going to talk about the 1991 album, I believe 21st studio album by Van Morrison called Hymns to the Silence. Now, Hymns to the Silence is a double record. I have it on CD. Again, it's from the 90s. I would love to have it on vinyl. So this is a double CD. It's a big album. It's over 90 minutes long. It requires some time, and that's a good thing. I know a lot of times we kind of throw away an album because it's long, and we don't always give it the time of day because we want a 35-minute record, 40-minute record, and then to move on. This album, it kind of requires you to sit and listen to it. I'm not saying that it's a slow album in that sense. There's a lot of good, upbeat tunes. I'm just saying because of the lyrical depth and just the vast quantity of music, 90 minutes, it does require a little bit of listening. So with that to say, I think it goes by very quickly. Now, side A, or I guess CD1, has some great tunes on there. Professional Jealousy, which is kind of, again, a jazzy kind of tune. I'm Not Feeling It Anymore is one of my probably top 10 favorite Van Morrison songs. It's just got this great build up to it like you want from a Van Morrison tune. It's kind of, these horns that are building, going, bum ba dum bum ba bum ba da, and then like when he breaks into the chorus, it kind of just hits you in the face. Bum 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 ba da da da. It's just got this great feel to it. That's a song that I would recommend to kind of get an idea of some of this album. Uh, he also does a tune called So Complicated, which he revisits on several different albums, including fairly recently on one of the more recent records. I think he does like an instrumental version. It's very jazzy, very horn, associated. He does the old Don Gibson tune, "I Can't Stop Loving You," which Ray Charles had a big hit with. Van Morrison is a big fan of Ray Charles, so I can only imagine he got it from him. Uh, the album has typical Van Morrison collaborators at the time, the Chieftains, Georgie Fame. They're all on this album. People that he was playing with in the 80s and the 90s. There's a great tune on here called "Why Must I Always Explain," which is kind of this tune about Van throwing off the criticism of his career. Like, why is Van doing spiritual tunes? Why is Van doing jazz? Why isn't he doing the R&B and the blues that we loved from those early records? But "Why Must I Always Explain" it's a great tune. I believe he admitted that it's really the same chords, the same melody for the most part as "Crazy Love" and "Tupelo Honey." And so oftentimes in concert, he'll merge those songs together when he does this. He doesn't always do this song, and he really doesn't do "Tupelo Honey" that much anymore. But he does incorporate some hymns into the song. Again, "Hymns to the Silence." He does some spoken word interludes, which he was known to do in the 80s and into the 90s. He does a version of "Be Thou My Vision," "Just a Closer Walk with Thee," which are both hymns in the Christian hymn book. Disc 2 from this record, "By His Grace," great tune, classic Van melody to it. It's just got this great feel, upbeat feel. Another song on here, "All Saints Day," is one that I always listen to on November the 1st. He did do a version of that on his album, I believe "You're Driving Me Crazy," with Joey DeFrancisco. and it's just a really great kind of um, jazzy, finger snapping tune. It's got a great upbeat melody to it. Um, Carrying a Torch is a great ballad. Quality Street has this just great. It's just there's so many of these great melodies that stick with you, and I can't recommend this enough. My mom was the one who got me into this. It is out of print, but you can find it used online all over the place. I remember finding this on eBay. I bought 2 copies of it, gave one to her because that was one of the albums where she really got into Van as a lyricist in the early '90s, when she would have been in her early 20s. So I recommend Hymns to the Silence by Van Morrison. Again, some of those tracks I mentioned, throw those into a playlist, listen to them. Like I said, I'm not feeling it anymore. Why must I always explain? Um, those are tunes that I recommend. Carrying a Torch is great, and Quality Street. Throw those songs on. Hopefully you dig them. And let me know what you think about this album. Again, I love this record. I think it's Van at some of his best. It's like I said, it's one of my top 5 or so Van Morrison albums. I absolutely adore it. So thank you all for watching. Y'all be good. Take care. And hopefully the next installment will be sooner rather than later. Bye now.